Hi everyone, delonewolf here. Welcome back to the Sunday recap, my weekly vlog where I talk a little bit about my last week in games. As always, we'll start with EVE Online, and EVE Online has been a little bit less than average last week. I think the main reason was the bad deployment of the January patch, where a lot of performance issues showed up. They actually had to pull it back off from TQ, and a few days later they put it back on there. But on that day, there was so much rubber banding when landing on grid. The drones were very irresponsive, and the drone bug made it almost impossible to do anything with them. Basically at that point I said, you know what, I'm going to do some other stuff. I still have some Diablo to play, I still have some Homeworld videos to make. So all in all, especially in the first part of the week, because of the patch, I played a lot less EVE Online than normally. I must say on that end that I played a bit more this weekend, and it's been going a lot better. At least I can work normally, the drones are more responsive, and in my last few mining sessions in the Orca, not all that big mind you, I at least didn't encounter the drone bug either. So this weekend performance has been the way I would expect normal performance, but during the week, because of the patch, it did put me off a little bit from playing a lot of EVE Online, because there was definitely my first warping on a belt on the Orca had like a 20-second rubber band for the Orca landing, first on my client, then a huge rubber band, and then another 5 or 10 seconds before I actually got out of warp, where my Orca was actually already standing still. So that was definitely some problems that were showing up there, and I would actually say that a bit of a focus on improving performance and getting rid of some of the bugs is something that CCP might want to look into. One thing that I did do is I kept up with the blueprint copy business. Most of those for the construction parts are back in the Raitaru, because the war is over, so I can now once again afford to do that on the cheap. There are a tiny bit of taxes to be paid, but those go to my corp wallet anyway, so it's basically as cheap as you can get when it comes to creating blueprint copies, and they're still selling really well in Jita at the moment, to my surprise. So that's basically what I've been doing in the last week, a little bit less than normal, but overall I think it's still alright. We're looking forward to the next phases of the development in EVE Online here. Personally, I'm curious to see when we'll have some more mass tests and when the first few next features will be announced. It's possible that they'll keep a lot of that under wraps until FanFest, of course. Next up, we've got some Diablo 3. So as some of you may know, I've been playing Season 9 of Diablo 3. I already finished with the Witch Doctor. I have the rewards that I want. Very smooth progression, I must say, so far. I think this will have been the easiest season in Diablo 3 so far. And it's because of the first bonus, the first set bonus that you get for free when you basically do like a second chapter or something like that in the season. It makes your hound so much more powerful for the Witch Doctor that it basically blows you straight into the possibility to do rank 20 rifts, and basically at that point you can beat the entire season already without having to grind for a lot of gear, without having to grind for some of the best gems or be all too tanky. It's just that great, and it was a nice experience. It was probably the shortest season that I've experienced so far, but on the Diablo 3 front, of course, we do have the Necromancer that is starting to peak on the horizon. We know that it's coming this year, a new class to play in Diablo 3, and I'm definitely going to check that out decently extensively, because something like a Necromancer class is something that I enjoy a lot when it comes to playing some of these dungeon crawlers. A summoner is also my favorite playstyle in Path of Exile, so that would be right around that same type of playstyle with minions and with powerful control spells. It basically allows you to focus quite heavily on your minion damage and things like that. I enjoy that playstyle, and so I definitely look forward to the Necromancer in Diablo 3. But for Season 9, I think that's basically it once again. I managed to grab all of the rewards, and I feel very little pressure to go and grind out a full set of the best possible gems, for instance. That would be quite a bit of grinding to go for a huge amount of powers for the Nephilim cube and try to get that absolute best build, try to reach like higher rank rifts or things like that. I feel very little need to go for that. Still, the fact that Blizzard comes out with these seasons is enough for me to keep playing the game once in a while, and all of that just adds value to the purchase of Diablo 3 for me. After that, we have Homeworld, Deserts of Karak, very enjoyable RTS. I did play through the campaign by this point. All of that is recorded, and it is content that you guys will get in the upcoming weeks. It's great for Homeworld fans. It's incredible. It's basically a classic RTS setting with tanks and with not with base building, but you get this carrier that actually does a really good job of providing a base structure, a powerful base place on the map, and it was a great experience. The story, while not all that complex, pretty much what you would expect, since a lot of that was already hinted at in the original Homeworld. It basically tells a story of how everyone came together in the end, discovered the story behind the origins of those people, and then of course set on their journey towards the Homeworld story itself, which is pretty damn awesome. It's not a huge game, to be honest. I think it's like 14-15 missions, something like that, so I wouldn't advise full price, just to be honest here, but 50% off, 60% off is something that is definitely possible with the right sale on Steam, and then that does become a no-brainer, even if you've never played Homeworld, even if you don't have any idea about the nostalgia that I'm feeling when it comes to Homeworld. I think for something like $20, this game is absolutely worth it, because it is a good RTS. It has great graphics. It worked absolutely flawlessly for me, not a single crash. There was one audio bug at the very end that caused a bit of a break in the immersion, which is unfortunate, because I actually got shivers from hearing the transition from the end of Homeworld, Deserts of Karak, to basically the first sounds you hear in Homeworld itself. That's something that, well, I'll always remember, I think. So it's a great experience. Don't expect a huge experience, don't expect huge replayability, but it is definitely a very solid and fun RTS, and for Homeworld fans, it's definitely going to get you back into that vibe, which I think is what the game was all about. And finally, we have some Stellaris co-op. So my brother and myself found a little bit of time to play some Stellaris together, and we actually got quite a bit done, to my surprise. So we went after the Space Dragon, together with a fleet of probably 30k in numbers or something like that. Then at that point, some of these big monsters, these big secrets of the universe becomes tackleable. And so if you're playing together, of course, you just need 2 15k fleets in order to actually do that. And we got the dragon. My brother got the dragon horde, which is like a planet that gives you 30 energy and 30 minerals, something that's pretty damn awesome for your economy. We also killed some weird squid-like creature that was roaming around. I was actually effectively roaming around a lot, because I discovered it somewhere decently far away from our space with one of my scouts, and then I lost my scout to it, and my brother was looking for it around that neighborhood, but then it showed up within our own systems, and so we were actually ready to grab that one with our fleets pretty quickly as well. But the coolest achievement is actually that we got the Dreadnought, and so there's like an automated Dreadnought that you can go after as well, very powerful, and when you destroy it, there is a chance that you'll be able to rebuild it, and that's what my empire managed to do. So now amongst my fleet is in a super big ship, basically something that's much bigger than the other empires could build. It's a functional Dreadnought with powerful weapons. It's really cool, and some of that stuff is very nice in Stellaris. It provides you with opportunities to create a different story every single time, and so that is something that I would say is a big difference between, let's say, Stellaris and Homeworld Deserts of Karak. Stellaris is an RTS, it's also an empire building game, but it has a lot of elements that provide it with great replayability. The different type of races you can create, the different type of governments and things like that will already provide you with replayability, but also all of the complex and cool stories and achievements achievements that you can get through playing the game on just different games, because all of that is a little bit chance based, makes for an incredible experience, and especially in co-op it's definitely an absolute blast. So we're gonna continue to play some Stellaris co-op whenever we find the time. This game is going pretty well, so hopefully I can keep you guys up to date, at least during these Sunday recaps on our adventures in Stellaris. But that's going to be it for this week, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.